Thank you for joining us again for season 2 of the Game of Stones podcast, episode 5. We're here with Jessie Harrell, CEO and owner of Assured Flooring Countertops. We're happy to have you on here, and we want to send a message out to everybody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. Yeah. You coming from working all different types of jobs. One I remember is selling carpets.
Yeah, that's what introduced me.
Then getting into the flooring business, which then led to the countertop business.
That's right. All right. Background was floor installation, wood floor sanding, and I was like most people when they start out in the floor, and we did zero slab work. I mean, this was 20 years ago. So I was subbing that work out to someone, and one day they didn't show up, but I still had a customer I needed to make happy, so I figured it out. And one job led to the next, and next thing you know, I was a
problem solving
fabricator.
And you were cutting by hand, I remember you telling me.
Cutting by hand, and learning how to put an OG edge on with a 5-inch, with a little Makita. And
the Makita that took the router bit?
Yeah. That's how we did the OG back then, and
wow.
And made it happen. One of my first customers is a good friend of mine today, and we just did, I don't know, maybe his 20th house remodel or project.
Nice.
Terrence Ginn is his name, and he's, just did I remember I put his 60-40 sink backwards.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody knew, not even him. Like I was at his house 5 years later.
You were already thinking like mirror image. That's a mirror image, right? It's
5 years later, and they're looking at his sink, and I said, Terrence, I don't think that's right. That's backwards, So I learned a lot along the sink,
or did you get the different?
He had it
or did
5
you buy
years.
the different sink?
He was good by then. Like he was selling that house, but
you figured it out 5 years later.
Yeah, 5 years later, we put the sink in.
That's
backwards.
crazy. Oh my God. So you took that company and that business in what year to what it is today?
20 years ago today. So, you're talking, of course, the first 5 years, we were lucky to hit $1 million in sales total. And this year, I think we're on pace to hit somewhere around 22 million if we're lucky.
Wow, that is impressive, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's every year's hard. You just have to be obedient and do your best. Philip and I, that's my partner, that we're shoulder to shoulder. We do our best to align every day. And we just say, wake up and do the best you can today. And it's going to work out, And so every day we just wake up and try to do the best. And it's worked out ever since, and that's what we're going to keep doing tomorrow and the next day and the next day.
And thanks for being a part of our growth as well.
Yeah.
I know that in the outside world, a lot of people think you're paid off by Poseidon or that you work for Poseidon or you're a partner in Poseidon, but really they don't understand, because I think it's not normal to meet somebody. A lot of people don't know that about you, but I can say that you and a lot of people that do know you also, what drives you, I think, is helping other people.
That's my calling.
Yeah.
That's my calling. I genuinely get excited to help someone, genuinely.
Yeah, I notice that.
I don't get excited to install a countertop.
People don't understand why. It's weird for them because they don't have the bandwidth. They don't.
Man, if you just go help somebody one day on your drive home, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like anything, drugs or anything. You get addicted.
You get that dopamine.
Yeah, you get that dopamine, and for me, it's just helping somebody. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I think I've learned that I really want to help somebody that wants to help themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not gonna just pour into someone. I've done.
Well, that's unmotivating too. Yeah. If you try to help somebody, you can help them. You got the solution for them, but you don't see them taking that in it. Because if it was me, I'd be like, yes, help me. Oh my God, come here.
Right.
No,
somebody.
But I've seen that happen too.
Yeah.
Where people just kind of, they think that there's something fishy about. They can't get outside of their mindset of, it's got to be hard. It's got to be, struggling. Oh my God, somebody could help me actually get from A to Z quicker. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out where they'll take the help too. But I have seen so many cases where even within our community of customers and clients, and you help some people over the phone as well, with certain things that, and you know, we offer all the solutions, right? But we're never going to have as many insights as our customers that are living every day, coming up with solutions, new things with our hybrid cycle, which is still very new, right? We're still developing and finding the best way for every type of job, which is great, because what we're finding out, of course, which you've been witness to, is that every single type of job, it's actually better for custom stuff, right? Everybody thinks like, oh, cookie cutter's good. Yeah, duh. But then, you know, if it's custom miters and blah, 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 blah.
I've said this from the beginning. Hybrid is better for custom. Cookie cutter, it's exactly what it says. It's cookie cutter. I can put that on a bridge saw, rip it, run it through a line polisher, and I'm done. Like what?
Right.
It's the inside corners, the technical edges, the inside miters, the outside radius corners that everybody, you have to have a router to do it. You know, you have to to do it efficiently. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say you have to, because you can do anything by hand in the industry, but efficiently on a large scale, you know. So.
Do you think that going hybrid, because it was just recent that you really went fully hybrid. It's only been like, I think, a year that we swapped out the last of the older equipment. Older meaning you had a 3-axis router that we made, but we don't make it anymore. And you had the process of doing split processes. You had one T-Rex, and then you finally went all hybrid.
Has it been a whole year, do you know?
3 dual tables, yeah, man. It was like last August was when we installed or delivered the last T-Rex, yeah.
God, time flies.
Yeah. Well, we've been busy.
Wow.
But
yeah.
And you've been a part of that. I've gone already to do a few demos at your place this year. I think 3 or 4.
I mean, I know it's 3 because it was the last 3 times I've been to my shop.
So you don't go to your shop anymore?
I don't go to my shop anymore.
Which I know was your goal, right? It wasn't just building the business, but building it to where you didn't have to be there.
Correct.
All the time. Do you think that going hybrid helped you accomplish that?
Without a doubt. If it wasn't for hybrid, I don't think there's any way possible I could have exited my company this soon and this quickly. Meaning Philip and I had we had a goal when
Philip,
I turned.
your partner, which
that's right.
I have an interview with him, by the way, in the podcast episode.
Yeah, he's amazing, man.
He's a great guy.
He's great. We had a goal when I turned 50 to not have to work, right? Well, in order for me not to have to work, that shop needed to run itself pretty much. I mean, of course it don't run itself. I got a great guy, John, that makes sure everybody knows what they're doing and is actually doing it, and he's back.
Why do you think it made it easier when you went to hybrid? First of all, for a lot of people that don't know that are watching, what is the hybrid cycle?
Hybrid cycle is a more efficient way to fabricate. So traditional, you would put a slab on one piece of equipment, you would cut it, and then you would put it on a saw jet, whatever, blue ripper, whatever you did. And then you had to take it from that workstation to a router workstation where you did the edging and the hand
like
and
a Guinness
the sinks.
router,
yeah,
little hand router,
or
CNC
3-axis
router,
CNC router,
or a guy fabricating everything with a diamond cup wheel and
correct. That's right. That's
tools.
right. And then it'd go to the third station, which was hand touch up, and that's traditional, right? Mm-hmm. Where now we just
split processes is what we call it. Split process. I mean, what Poseidon calls it. I think that's what they call it in manufacturing, but split processes, which divvying up the processes to get the product made.
I like
manufactured.
It. Yes, and that moving of granite is very challenging. As you cut it, it becomes more fragile.
Yeah,
you know, it's heavy. And so hybrid, we're putting the slab down, we're cutting it, routing it, sinking it, and then yes, you move it to the hand guys. They touch it up and you're finished. So you're essentially skipping several steps from moving and.
Yeah, you load the slab one time, upside down.
That's right.
Which hasn't been done before because you're cutting upside down all the time.
But the real key is we're eliminating the roles of which shop guys have to be trained. You know, we have now just an operator, and every operator.
For one machine, one CNC, which is the T-Rex.
That's right. But they're all doing the same thing. So so I don't have a saw guy and then a water jet guy and then a CNC router guy. Those are 3 positions that a lot of decent sized shops have.
The programming's different. It's a different work file for each machine.
That's right. You're several You're programming your CNC saw then your water jet.
So now what does your life look like? You have 3 dual table machines.
And we
got one backsplasher.
That's right. And we have really just two positions in our shop. You're either an operator, which all operators are doing the same
For the CNC.
for the CNC, but it's, they're all doing the same. That's the key.
Hybrid operator.
Yeah, hybrid operator, and then you got hand touch-up guy. So
That's
it. It's it.
And they both have to be versed in material handling, like moving stuff, loading,
Correct.
unloading
Correct,
pieces.
correct. But so the training of them, you're not bound down to this one position who has mastered this saw, and he can cut 18 slabs a day. But if he takes a week-long vacation, you're in a bind now.
Yeah.
You're not bound down to that
Yeah.
anymore. Or even him, the pressure don't fall on him like it used to. He's able to say, okay, man, now I got help. We're all doing this as a team.
Right.
So that guy who used to come to work every
also,
day.
if one of the three operators gets sick, those two guys could probably fill in
they
for him
could fill in
with a helper.
No, 100%. 100%.
On the third machine.
At 100%.
So redundancy is easier, scalability is easier, management's easier.
No, that's right. That's right.
Less things to worry about.
SOPs
less movements.
are easier. You got way less SOPs.
Yep.
And
now
look,
we have whale software that also everything's in there that allows you to
any
get our
entrepreneur that's been through a lot and is reaching a successful point in their career understands the value of SOPs.
Yeah.
Right?
Which stands for standard operating procedures. Because I didn't even know what SOPs meant until like a few years ago.
I think it's a name we started all using here recently.
Yeah.
Policies,
somebody else told me something else.
Procedures,
like silly,
instructions.
unaware
it's all
person.
it's all the same thing. But yeah. I think there was a time where me and my partner and one of our good guys, which is his brother-in-law David, we finally caught how important protocols were. And one day we would use the word protocol, and one day we would use the word procedure, and one day we would use the word instructions or processes. And then one day we all sitting there like, listen, what are we talking about here? Processes, procedures, protocols? And I swear we spent a month trying to determine like what word we were gonna use. And at the end of the day, it's all means the same thing. It's a clear description of how to do something. Right. Whatever.
Templating, install,
whatever it is,
running the machine.
Whatever it is.
Loading, unloading.
Yeah. Some people call it a process. Some people call it a procedure. Some people call it instructions. Some people call it a manual. And I think now today the most popular term is SOPs.
So now all your programmers, they only also have to learn one program, right?
One program.
Do you farm out some of the programming to a third party, like remote programming?
Definitely. I think that's a newer thing that a lot of people are scared of.
Yeah.
I'm not, but it's definitely
been working out?
Yeah, definitely it's been working out for us. I think if you don't have good SOPs, you can hang that up though. You gotta have your SOPs.
You gotta have
organized.
SOPs for everything, especially if you want to scale, you want to be organized, you want to be.
That's 100%. 100%.
Yeah. And what kind of work are you guys doing right now? Like in terms of what's the mix of cookie cutter,
So I guess
custom,
I'll use this
custom traditional
terminology.
like curves with triple waterfall fantasy, or like miters, and
So
then quartz sights, all that good stuff.
I break it down like this. You got, and I find most people in the industry refer to it as commercial work, track home builders, multifamily, and custom, right? We don't do a whole lot of commercial work in multifamily. So that's like your casinos or your apartments. We do a lot of track home works where these builders will develop a neighborhood and there's like 6 floor plans or something, and we do a lot of custom work where, hey, we might do a lot of work for this same builder, but every house he builds different. Every customer wants their edge, their color, their cabinet design. Yeah, it's custom builds, And most, so even if you're a customer who walks in the door and you're remodeling the kitchen, we call you custom work because it's different, right? Even if you're a builder who's building a new house, it's still custom because we have to talk to you and get all the information. Everything's different, right? So we look at it as just 2 types, custom and track home builders, and right now in our area, the it's down a little bit with the custom work. So we're about 38% custom, 62% track home. And so that custom can be anything. I mean, it can, your OGs, your laminate, your
Quartz
fancy
sites,
stones,
like Taj Mahal?
all that.
Because I've seen some Taj in
even
your
our
shop.
track home builders are starting to do full height backsplash, miters, waterfall edges,
Right,
Taj
offer a little more
Mahal.
value to get the house sold.
Even our track homes are offering that type of work.
So how do you do the miters?
Everything's done hybrid. Everything.
Upside down.
Yes.
And
Everything.
What have you found as in terms of the difficulty of doing miters upside down as opposed to polished face up?
You
school.
use the word difficulty, it threw me off a little bit. It's actually a lot easier for us, the calibration of
How
the
come?
machine. You don't have to take in consideration the thickness of the stone.
Because you're upside down on
that's
top
right.
of a perfect level.
It knows where the top of the
So
stone is.
you don't care about the materials changing.
Nah.
So probing's not even
And when we put
non-issue.
when we put material on our saw, unless we freshly laid the bed and freshly milled it, there's going to be a little inconsistency in that
because of the material thickness.
and the material thickness. Yep.
Yeah.
But when you're putting it on the vacuum pods, it's 150 millimeters off that
Yeah, because the
perfectly
blade's
milled
like coming in
surface.
here and here. So like,
But you can get inside corners. You can dive the blade a little deeper, which is going to give it a little less vibration.
a lot of questions or concerns that people have said about, because in the integrated sinks, we get separation of the inner piece by overcutting on the inside of the corners. And when we overcut on the inside of the corner, that creates like notches
Yeah.
that are like half crosshairs in the corners.
On the back side.
yeah.
You can't see that from the front.
Oh, for sure. But their concern is it not being as reinforced. But if you fill it in with a reinforced, like strong glue,
Everybody knows in the industry, epoxy is just as strong as the hard if you mix it, right?
Right.
So we've never had an issue with that ever.
right? So I would say, do you think, and I'm just asking this because this just was an idea, do you think it's worth it to invest in small metal pieces to put in those notches and then glue it?
I don't think that's
Or would it
necessary.
make
I don't
a
think
difference?
that's necessary. I don't think it makes a difference.
You've
at
never
all.
had an issue.
Never had an
with
issue.
the integrated.
It's no different than when you cut a rod for.
Right. Except
put
you
a
wouldn't be putting a
fiberglass
steel.
or-
Yeah, you'd be putting just glue. Well,
Yeah.
that's longer, so that's a little different because that's a longer, weak part. This is just a couple inches overcut.
Yeah. I don't. There hasn't been an issue with that at all.
Yeah, I was just
not one
wondering
issue.
if you've had an issue. What do you think that's cut down the time of doing an integrated sink?
Well, we have not been using a water jet, right?
Right.
So I think most people that do a lot of that work have water jets.
Yep.
And just knowing that a water jet moves at probably about the same speed as a finger bit, just kind of guessing, maybe a little slower,
On a miter, it's like 8 to 9 inches a minute, so it's actually
like half the speed.
half or a third.
I would, and knowing how fast the blade can dive and cut, I would say it's at least twice as fast. At least. Maybe faster.
But the measurements are perfect, which you can't say polished face up.
And not only is
'Cause
it
you're getting-
perfect,
it's more about the quality.
it's more consistency.
Yeah.
Because even if you have a saw jet where you got a blade coming in, cutting a miter, and then you're getting the water jet to just do that last
4 inches.
4 inches, it's still not going to be smooth enough to glue it together. Like
No,
you're going
you
to have to go
gotta
in
do
there with
handwork, right.
with a grinder
With
and
our
clean
system,
it up.
you go
and-
straight to lamination.
Yeah, you go straight to lamination. Yeah, you should. You
it's
should
just
be
putting
able to.
together like puzzle pieces.
Correct. Because it's perfectly calibrated. If you don't have your machine perfectly calibrated,
Right.
you're not going to get a good inside corner cut.
You were mentioning to me, because my guys are barely doing any work.
Well, for 20 years, man, it's like not one person in the shop could stop. I mean,
Could
literally,
stop, like they're
they couldn't
hustling.
stop.
Right,
they,
right.
they were moving.
Grab the pieces,
Not,
move the
you
pieces.
were moving constantly. Not
Get them ready
one
for
person.
loading the CNC,
Correct.
loading this.
Correct. And now my operators, they have a decent amount. I don't want to say they're not working hard, right? I don't want to imply that at all. But there's multiple times in the day where they have about 20 minutes that they're watching the machine work, and it's totally okay because they are caught up with all their SOPs and everything's under control. And the what has happened is it has evened out the process because there's two tables. So I mean, think about it. You set this slab up, you're okay to watch the machine till it fabricates both slabs. Well, then you better be ready to replace this slab and this slab, right, to do it again. But in that time where it's processing, you have enough time to
reload,
unload, take your little break, make a
we
phone
actually
call,
recently
whatever you need
did
to
a
do.
time study. I didn't tell you about this, but we recently did a time study where we measured the amount of labor hours that the operator on a dual table T-Rex going back and forth is actually doing.
Okay.
And it came out to a little under exactly 4 hours.
I could have told you that.
Okay.
I'm so particular.
Out of 8 hours, yeah. So
I'm so particular about when you do what and how, and I've timed it myself so many times because when I'm training, I want to be able to hold you accountable. I can't hold you accountable if I don't know how to do it.
So that means like 4 hours out of the day, they're literally watching the machine.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about unloading the vacuum pods, reloading the vacuum pods and the blocks, loading up the slabs, and then that intermediate time in between the hybrid cycle where when you open the sinks and cut and you go to the next table, that you go in there and take out the splashes, the remnants, which takes about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We calculated that as like 15. And that was if you were doing 2 slabs at a time. So we came up with worst case, like he's working physical labor 4 hours a day.
Yeah. I would say that's about right.
I argued that if you're not super high production, that guy could be the programmer. Because in the other 4 hours of the day, it's really easy to do the programs for hybrid.
I think look, I'm just going to be real. I think it's hard to go back and forth.
Mentally. Yeah.
It's very hard to go back and forth. You know, this in the past, that saw guy, he was your number one guy. Meaning you counted on him to get everything right. And I think with this process, the operator, we've done this, so I know this for a fact.
So it definitely could be, let me ask you this, it could definitely, sorry to interrupt, but it definitely could be 2 people. In other words, if it's 4 hours of labor per machine, then one guy could run 2 machines, definitely with a helper. So it's definitely 1 person per machine to run the machine.
Oh yeah, one person.
If they're not running programs, if they're not writing programs.
Correct. 1 person per machine, dual table, and they should be able to process that no problem.
So what are the new plans for Assured Flooring and Countertops? Because I know recently, I'm happy to say that you became a Florida resident.
Yes, yes.
Neighbor now. You just moved to Lakewood Ranch. You bought a beautiful house over there. Congratulations.
So excited.
Amazing house. Amazing house.
Me, the wife, my son, we are just tickled pink to be here.
It's a beautiful area. I mean, it's probably one of the best well-kept gems. A lot of customers and friends in our network. A lot of them are moving to Sarasota, or they just recently also got a place there.
And once you visit, it's kind of like
you can't not go there.
Yeah,
right?
it's really,
why
really.
isn't anybody here? Like, good thing nobody knows about this.
Right. We definitely plan on branching out. I mean, we feel we got a little bit more work with our SOPs to like really perfect them and be able to roll them out. And
have all the different branches be united, because I think you're thinking about opening up a branch in Florida.
We want to open a branch in Florida.
Duplicate the formula.
That's right. You know, if everybody, once you kind of get a decent grip of what's going on as an entrepreneur, we all say the same thing. Boy, if I could go back and do it again. Well, I'm going to go back and do it again. Same thing.
Do you think it's made it easier for you to be able to have that idea or that desire to want to scale because the hybrids enabled you to manage your facility?
Genuinely don't think we would be able to, much less have the energy to, if it wasn't for that process.
So it definitely helps, because that's great. I mean,
no, it's for me, it's a must.
Yeah.
Like there is just no way I could go open up a shop, find a sawyer, find a water jet guy, find a hand, just put all that together. Like
it's a lot of energy.
I know I just need one operator. I don't even need a programmer. I can have my main guy, Thatch, program from Baton Rouge. Like I just need an operator. Hey, I just need a guy who can put vacuum pods in the slab down. That's it.
When we were doing this process, we weren't thinking of all because I'm geeky in the shop, so I was just thinking of like speed. Like first I was like, I want to get the machine to cut faster, finger bit faster. We did that, so we won the tooling speed race.
Yeah.
We got basically certified by Wodium as the fastest machine in the world. They've been testing machines for 10 years with the Wodium Wendy blade. We're the fastest blade.
Nice.
3 seam quartz.
I love that blade. It works amazingly.
Yeah, and it lasts you wouldn't expect it to last as long as it lasts for cutting that fast. So that's a great And there's a lot of places that sell that, by the way. DeFusco's Supply is a great distributor for Wodium, as well as there's a new one, I believe it's Granitech.
I don't know. I usually deal with Mark over there at Wodium.
He's great. He's great.
amazing.
We also work with him. The Wodium blade, it's very fast. We want the tooling thing, but then just like a nice consequence of this was things that I learned from shops that got the equipment, started doing the hybrid like yourself. That was like, hey, now this is easier. The whole concept of one operator, like you said before, and that's easier from a management standpoint. Now scaling is easier, duplicating is easier.
It's the only process that if the guy over operations noticed at 3 p.m., I got a kitchen we forgot to cut and router and polish that's due tomorrow morning. It's the only process that he can literally walk out there in the shop at 3 o'clock.
Finish by 5.
And say, I need this done. And you can literally start at 3 o'clock. And by 5, it will be on the cart, ready to go. And look, if your shop shuts down at 4 o'clock, one guy has to stay. And that's for safety reasons, we'll say 2, okay? Right. But you don't have to have the, hey, saw guy, I need you to stay. Hey, router guy, I need you to stay. When the saw guy finishes to put the pieces on the router, and then, hey, hand guy, I need you to stay and wait another hour for it to come off the router, and then I need you to touch it. I mean, it's a 3-hour process at best, maybe 4. And you got 3 people staying. So at 3 o'clock now they're staying till 7, and it's 3 people versus 1 guy.
And you also have, I think you can safely say, so number one, it's the only single process that ever has existed in the stone industry where you put the slab down and the pieces come off finished basically off the table, right? So it's the first single process. But aside from that, it's also, I think, what you're saying, if you go past a full-time work schedule or shift, and you got to add 2 or 3 hours per shift, there's never been more production done to complete the job all the way through for the incremental added overhead costs that you're going to have by having 1 or 2 guys stay for 3 hours overtime.
Correct.
Right? Like in 3 hours, you can do, I think it's something like we came up with 40 square feet per hour, finished, cut, and fabbed on average between cookie cutter and like custom job.
That sounds right.
So you're getting 120 square feet of finished product. Because I think the pitfall in our industry, I mean, just let's be honest, because I've been doing this for 25 years and I made 3-axis routers, I've made 5-axis saws, I've worked on all the machines that are in the industry, saw jets, saws. And the reality is that there's so many steps to follow in the traditional method, A to Z, for things to come out right. You got to handle the pieces at least 7, 8 times. And so like, the reality is that for the amount of things you got to do to get it to the finished point, it's never been easier. And a lot of arguments that I see from the concerns we get or the barriers we get just showing this whole new thing to people for the first time is I realize everybody's mind as a fabricator is geared towards talking about how fast you can cut. Everybody's always talking about how fast.
That's not the bottleneck. So I don't know why they do that. It's not the bottleneck.
If you
the
ask
bottleneck
anybody,
is the router.
Nobody knows how many labor hours and how many people had to touch it on average
after it got cut.
From start to finish, from the beginning of the cut to the end of the job to deliver it. And that's the ironic part about it, is because everybody gets so fixated on they know how much they can, because that's easy to measure and it's easy to do, the cutting part. But nobody ever knows how long it really takes.
You just keep adding people.
And labor.
You just keep adding and adding.
And then there's what I call safety labor. So like, just to be safe, I'm gonna add these many more people in the shop to make sure it gets done with no excuses, because it's so hard to measure every kind of job, because sometimes part of it will go into an edger. Part of it will go into the router. Then it won't get it put into the router. Then everything is hand fabbed. And then nobody's measuring how many labor hours is it for the hand fab jobs. If you actually look at how easy it is for the first time ever to measure start to finish how long a job takes you, there's nothing ever gonna be easier than the hybrid cycle.
Correct.
Is that safe?
100%, 100%. Hey, you made me think of something that's probably off the wall, and this is just kind of for fun. Which one of us gave up on the 3-axis router first? Was it you or me? Did y'all quit making the 3-axis router?
Yeah.
Did you say I'm gonna stop making it before I said this is all we need. Which one of us went first?
Yeah, it was a little before that.
You were,
so what
you
ended
were
up
before
happening
me,
was
so
like
you quit.
2021, which is when we really started massively like pushing the T-Rex, and we hadn't filed the patents yet. So you can't market it until you file the patents.
Okay.
Which is like a catch-22 because you have to invest in the patents before you sell, and like marketing would help sell it, right?
Right.
So 21, we began showing people the T-Rex in the hybrid cycle, and we were saying, because they would come and say, okay, let me look at your 5-axis CNC saw, the guys that wanted sawing. And the guys that wanted routing would come in and say, let me look at your 3-axis router.
Yeah.
What's good about your 3-axis router compared to another router? Well, if you get the dual table, you work nonstop. So right there, you're adding the 3 hours to 4 hours you lose for every single table router. Right.
Tearing down, cleaning, and resetting.
So right there, it was faster. What's the other thing you do? Well, we do double tools. So we double stack the tools. So we're eliminating half of the nonsensical tool changes that you're doing in a day by picking up 6 positions, 1 through 6 on a CNC router, for everybody that has a router that knows what that means. When they'd ask us, well, what's the T-Rex? Because they see on our menu of CNCs, the 5-axis, 3-axis, single or dual table, and the T-Rex, single or dual table. And they'd ask us, what does a T-Rex do? And then we'd say, this is what the T-Rex does. And 90% of those customers that were about to pull the trigger on a 5-axis or a 3-axis router immediately chose the T-Rex instead, even though it was a little more expensive. And they were disinterested in so then 2022 came. So I think that we sold 4 or 5 of those machines in 21. And then in 22, we sold 1. And I was just like, you know what? This doesn't make sense for us to push traditional equipment, because if we really believe in the hybrid cycle and what we're doing as a company and revolutionizing the fabric, like I know for a fact that even though it's more expensive than a 5-axis saw, it's way more money it's way more profitable per square foot.
Yeah.
Because you're doing the whole process, period.
Yeah.
So I don't care how much I can cut. With one guy, I'm doing more square feet than I would ever do between a saw. You need, for a dual table T-Rex, you need to have 1 saw or saw jet and 2 routers. And I don't know how many employees to do the same square footage output, which is what I care about, because that's what makes you money, is what gets you from A to Z.
The job completed.
Exactly.
It's not just how fast can you cut.
Right.
It's how fast can you get it on the cart.
Finished.
Versus the man hours, the manpower. Right. How many men per how many square feet per the length of time it takes you to get it on the cart. You got to take it all in consideration.
So you've been talking to a lot of people too. You're very social, so you talk to everybody too. And a lot of people reach out to you on Facebook, and that's another thing that's crazy. Like, you're an entrepreneur who's highly successful. You have a great countertop flooring business. You do real estate. You're doing $22 million. You don't even need to go into the shop anymore. You've only been nice enough to go in because I'm in town to do demos at your shop. Right. And you reach out and you talk to a lot of people on social media that reach out to you and talk to you. What would you say you think is the biggest pitfall that you can get into a mindset as a fabricator, as an entrepreneur in this industry, if you stick too much to like the old way of like what we all know or what we're used to, right? Well, like what advice could you give to the fabricator?
Oh man, that's I think everybody's different, and I'm an outside the box thinker, okay? And so I have like 3 or 4 things I want to comment on that. I mean, number one is you always have to be getting better. Like every day you want to wake up and say, how can I improve? How can I be better today than I was yesterday, right? Which includes looking at your process of how you work, right? I mean, that's just one thing. And I think everybody would say, yeah, we're always getting better. Like, if you're not better today than you were yesterday, then you're going backwards as far as I'm concerned. And I think a lot of people get stuck in their ways, and they're not evolving. Look, the industry's evolving, the material's evolving, the customer's evolving, the process is definitely evolving. And you need to be evolving with that process. You need to always be looking forward.
So keep an open mind. Be willing to evolve and adapt and listen. Before judging something.
That's right. And of course, that speaks towards the
approach to
hybrid
life
cycle,
too.
right? But
Well,
let's life
that's a-
too.
that's a life.
But let's go.
But even just as an entrepreneur, like
As an
somebody who's
entre-
looking to start a business too.
I say there's 5 things I think you should study and learn. Okay, and I guess I probably should throw 6 in there because of AI. Like if you're not working with AI, you're probably going to get lost in the future. But here's my 5 steps. You have to be real good at hiring people. You know, step number 2, you have to be real good at training people. So my concept
Those
is
are 2 extremely weak points, I think, for all business
and
owners.
you got to study how to hire somebody because everybody wants to hire their like-minded people. I mean, I love dirt bikes. So if I'm interviewing 3 people and one of them likes to ride dirt bikes, the odds are that's who I want to hire.
Yeah.
You know, not because I don't.
Well, a lot of people do what I call the 10-minute interview.
Yeah.
When can you start? You got a valid driver's license?
Right.
Are you legal?
Learn how to hire. Learn how to train. Okay.
Right.
So training, of course, revolves around SOPs. You know, but have them organized and written down, not just up here, and then you say it in your language and think they understand, and then a week later you're mad at that guy because he rolled the extension cord up wrong. Did you have an SOP on how to roll up the extension cord? Did you start and train him how to roll up the extension
We're trying to
cord?
make that a part of our community too. A lot of people have started to join our whale processes seminar webinar.
Yeah, no, the whale's amazing.
Bi-monthly,
we use whale, and
through
it is
Kaplan
key.
Consulting.
We hired a.
You can go to jkaplanconsulting.com. We'll put the link in the video. If you'd like to join that webinar for fabricators specifically, it's really good information for free to build processes.
So important.
For granite shop.
That whale software is amazing.
Yeah.
So the third thing I think that entrepreneurs that are new into the business should learn and study and don't overlook would be how to evaluate. How to evaluate, is this employee, how are they doing? You know, hey.
How to measure them.
Yeah, how to measure them.
Right.
And look,
it doesn't mean like sometimes you hire a person, you're stuck with, you feel like I don't need to like continue to evaluate them, measure them.
Yeah, you got to evaluate someone. Did you hire the right person? Are they trained properly? Are they performing like they need to? And you know, the last step is how to promote someone. If you're not creating a company where everybody's moving up as the years go on, you're going to lose possibly good, valuable people. Valuable people need to move up in the ladder.
Right.
They can't just sit here and
Right.
and that's where they're going to be years and years. Think you're going to have this valuable employee do the same thing for 5 and 10 years, so how you promote someone. And the last and probably the most challenging is how to fire people. So hire, train, evaluate, promote, and fire people.
I heard once good
And
saying.
then I'm throwing AI in there
No,
somewhere.
AI is good. Yeah, get on
Do
the
something
AI.
with that. Don't ignore that.
I also heard something that somebody said. They said, "Be slow to hire, be quick to fire."
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense because once you know somebody's not working out, there's no sense in dragging it out, right?
Yeah.
It's like a bad relationship.
I do think the better you get at hiring, the less
you'll have to do
firing
it.
you
Yeah.
have to do. I really do think that. I think hiring is an art to study. Trust me.
Yeah.
Don't skip that part. If you're going to start a company, you need to know who you're hiring, what their job is, how they're going to do it. How are you going to interview these people to ensure they got the right personality or skill set to do the job you're hiring them to do? I think it's a skill set that you need to master to grow a company. You know,
How important, and I like to mention this because I think this is what also helped me get to where I am and even be able to come up with the concept, have the courage to want to launch it, right? The whole hybrid concept, the T-Rex, the Poseidon product line, you know? When I met you, we met because I sold you a used Breton that was refurbished. And I told you, I said, I'm gonna come and install it myself. And I showed up with the machine. I skated it in, I rigged it in, we put it in, we went through the motions,
Yeah.
we got you running on your first CNC router.
Yeah.
And luckily you were very loyal and you were great. And you called me as you saw me building the Poseidon product line. I think it was 2016. You're like, man, we're ready to grow again. Buy back my Breton and I'll get you your router. And you bought like 3 or 4 machines in a whole new place that you're in now. And I'm very grateful for that. And I guess what I'd like to say is how important in those years, coming from nothing, from refurbing old machines to now I'm doing, the T-Rex. And mindset, I think, is something really valuable that we don't talk about enough in terms of keeping your spirit, keeping your mind positive, and making sure that you are with the right people around you that have that positive mindset, because that's going to spread to your team and your employees, and not everything's going to be peaches and cream all the time. So you always want to make sure that you have a positive outlook, positive mindset. How important is that for you? Because whenever I've talked to you, no matter how much distress you're in, or even when you're stressed out, you're always cheerful. You're always like making a joke about it. And
I've heard these things, and look, I'm not the best to remember and quote anything by no means. Trust me, that's not my strong suit. But the perspective of how it goes all the way back to, is the glass
half full or half empty?
It goes all. I mean, this is something that's not new. Your perspective on something can change.
Well, you can forget about that. Like, what I've noticed is there's seasons in my career where you grow. When you grow, you get more problems happening.
Well, every problem is an opportunity.
True.
Every problem you come across is an opportunity to get better.
Yeah.
Right. So it's more that perspective.
And you can choose to let it, which you're an expert at. You can choose to let it rile you up. Or you can choose to, in other words, you can choose to let it change your mood and you react to it right away.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to stay calm, listen, and then immediately go to, don't react. How can I solve this problem right now? And not get upset, not rile myself up, not let it change your demeanor. I think that's really important. And we forget about that sometimes, the power of how powerful that can be.
Yeah, no, I think it's key. I think it's very important. I think it's a must in business, because things are going to attack you every day.
You're like automatically like that, so I don't even know if you notice that you're like that.
No, man. You see, what's crazy is I actually genuinely, my earthy me loves to get mad and fired up about things. Like, I actually like to get excited and mad.
I don't think I can remember the last time
and lose my temper.
Even when you get something doesn't go your way and you're calling me about an issue, like I always hear you sound like you sound like as cool as a cucumber, man.
No, man, I think I tricked you with that one. No, you have to be in business, I think, to be successful, because you're getting attacked constantly.
It's a skill, though.
Yeah, it's definitely a skill. And
nobody talks about that.
But I do want you to know that's not natural for me.
Right.
Naturally, I want to get mad and angry and lose my temper.
Well, you know me. I mean, me too. Like, this is something that I'm always trying to make sure it's better.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll get reaction, and you'll even tell me, like, hey man, I gotta tell you something, but don't go calling your employee for this, like, don't call him, just calm down, like, before you call.
No, I think every problem that comes our way, man, we have to stay calm and try to still achieve the best outcome you can, because if you get too emotional and you let it get you riled up too bad, you'll make the problem worse. Long story short, you can whether it's an upset customer. I mean, it doesn't matter what's going on. If you might be waiting on a part to come in, or a piece of, maybe a Z wheel for your machine, or a blade, and it don't. If you lose your temper and lose your cool with that person, most of the time they're doing the best they can on the other side of that too, and everybody's got these problems coming from every angle, and if it's you and you're dealing with the problem, you're able to understand and justify, why it happened, whatever the situation is. And I think giving grace, I mean, it's just treat other people the way you want to be treated.
100%. Really am excited to see what's going to happen with Assured Flooring Florida.
Me too, man.
And,
let's do it. Let's go.
Thank you for being a part of our circle, being my friend, being my customer, and trusting me. And just to set the record straight, You are not getting paid for this interview.
You have not paid me to do the social
I don't
media
think you
stuff.
need Poseidon's money.
Man, I'm just
Okay?
genuinely trying to help people. I'm trying
Yeah.
to promote you guys because I think it's
And you're
the
available.
process.
I've
Yeah.
seen you talk to everybody at all times of the night too.
Anytime.
Like,
Just hit me up.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I love this.
so I appreciate all the support, man. It's a pleasure meeting you, knowing you,
I love you,
being
bro.
your friend.
I love you.
Likewise, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for
All
being
right.
on the show.